What's going on, Mullen fam? No intro to this video because we got to get into some key details regarding the December 23rd shareholder meeting and reverse stock split talks moving forward. Now, before we get into it, I do want to say that there's a lot of fear being embedded in Mullen Automotive stock right now at the time where Mullen is at its most vulnerable times in the trenches and fighting for survival. And I know a lot of y'all out there are feeding the fear out there, but I want to let y'all know that I do understand, and I hope that this video could put you at some sort of ease and you find this information valuable. Now, I did do a little bit of extra digging around to make this video, but first I want to start off with this article by Investor Place. It says, "Dear Mullen stock fans, don't miss the key December 23rd catalyst." And I'm thinking to myself, why are they calling it a catalyst? When I think of catalyst, I'm thinking rocket fuel for a rocket. It says shareholders of Mullen Automotive stock should be on the lookout as the electric vehicle company will vote on a series of substantial proposals at its special meeting of stockholders on December 23rd. At the meeting, shareholders will vote on a potential reverse stock split potential, increasing authorized shares, and changing Mullen's state of incorporation to Maryland from Delaware. To Maryland from Delaware. Keep that in mind. That's the reason why I repeated it. The first proposal seeks to propose an amendment for a reverse stock split that will not be filed prior to the later of March 6, 2023, and 180 days after such date. March 6 is the deadline for Mullen to have a minimum closing bid price of $1 for 10 consecutive business days in order to remain compliant with NASDAQ guidelines. If the company is unable to achieve this, it is still eligible to file a 180-day extension. The stipulations highlighted above will only be active if Mullen does not file a reverse split amendment before May 1st, 2023. And we know the CEO, David Mystery, has a substantial amount of voting power for Mullen Automotive. It was about $1.3 billion worth of shares. And it's looking like the CEO can pull that trigger within the time frame leading up to May 1st, 2023. Another thing to keep in mind is that Mullen Automotive has yet to report its Q3 earnings report. And that is another thing which is very interesting based on the amount of catalysts and acquisitions that Mullen Automotive has been having over the past few months. With that being said, third quarter ends November 30th, and the SEC requires that companies report their quarterly earnings Form 10-Q no later than 35 days from the end of its fiscal quarter. So there's speculation there on earnings being reported before this next shareholder meeting. Now, I don't want to go into saying that Mullen Automotive will reverse stock split or not, whether it will be good or bad, but I do want to highlight some things because I know there's a lot of new and old investors in Mullen Automotive that may be out there feeding the fear. This highlighted text says, positive. Often companies that use reverse stock splits are in distress, but if a company times a reverse stock split along with significant changes that improve operations, projected earnings, and other information important to investors, the higher price may stick and could rise further. In this instance, the reverse stock split was a success for both the company and its shareholders. And the reason why I highlight this is because David Mystery has been in the trenches before. He's been in trouble. So he is not afraid to make risky moves. But lately he's been making a lot of positive strategic moves for the company. Now let's reverse a little bit and go back to this proposal where it says Mullen Automotive is changing its state of incorporation to Maryland from Delaware. Why is that interesting? This text says generally a public company can declare a reverse split if it obtains the approval of its board and directors. Most often, shareholder approval is not required. What law governs reverse stock splits? State corporate law and a company's articles of incorporation and by laws govern reverse stock splits. Next one, why is state of incorporation important? Simply state, this doctrine provides that the laws of the state of incorporation will govern any matter related to the internal affairs of the corporation. Internal affairs generally include matters involving the relationship between the corporation and its officers, directors, and shareholders. Now, this next information can be key because many people might not even pay attention to the proposal of Mullen Automotive changing its state of incorporation. They're more focused on the 5 billion shares being issued and also the reverse stock split proposal. So let's get into the details. So Mullen Automotive state of incorporation will be Maryland under the Maryland law, reverse stock splits. It says, as share prices have drifted lower during the COVID-19 crisis and some have reached or are near single digits, we want to remind clients and counsel that the Maryland General Corporation Law specifically authorizes the Board of Directors of Maryland Corporation that has a class of equity securities registered under the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 or that is registered as an open-end investment company under the Investment Company Act of 1940, unless prohibited by its charter, to amend the charter without the need for a stockholder vote or other stockholder action. And now to the highlighted portion, it says to reverse split its stock at a ratio of not more than 10 shares into 1 in any 12-month period. The Maryland REIT law contains a counterpart provision that applies to Maryland Real Estate Investments Trust. We have assisted many clients over the years in taking advantage of these statutes, which we believe are unique among the states. A reverse stock split does not by itself impact the market capitalization of a company, nor the value of a stockholder's equity interest in a company. The combination of shares will however, increase the aggregate amount of stated capital, except for elimination of fractional shares, and proportionately increase the pre-split value, par value, per value. The MGCL and the Maryland REIT law also permit the board to amend the charter of declaration of trust, respectively, to change the par value share or the aggregate par value stated capital of the stock. That was a lot of reading, but let's double back on what we covered briefly. So Mullen Automotive has until May 2023 to initiate a reverse stock split. CEO has majority voting power. Earnings deadline is November 30. And when it comes to the need to pull the trigger on a reverse stock split, it looks like there was a specific reason that Mullen Automotive changed its state of incorporation to Maryland, because under the Maryland law, if Mullen Automotive needed to pull that reverse stock split trigger, then the ratio would be no more than 10 shares into 1 in any 12-month period, 1 to 10 reverse stock split. And if David Mystery does decide to pull that trigger, who's to say he's not strategically timing it for significant changes, improvement to operations, projected earnings, or other information that is important to investors that could cause that after split price to stick and move higher. So that's all I got for this video. I hope y'all found this information valuable. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. I'm gone.
Go. Blessed in abundance. Little cool rays from the dungeon. Still come through in the clutch. I'm that dime in a dozen. Filling up clean to the function. Niggas mislead with assumptions.